Hi. Oh, it's good to be streaming again. It's Monday. It's beautiful outside. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Tow trucks go speeding past every few minutes. um, yeah, yeah. But it's. I'm excited to get some coding done. Today's going to be a really short stream. I've got some personal stuff to take care of. So I won't be able to do much, but that's okay. I just wanted to basically do some quick refactors and code cleanups around the title screen, um, and then we're going to cut the alpha for this week, which is really exciting. So let's get started. Let's just look at the title screen as it is right now. I'm going to grab this ROM, just do a little flash, and it scrolls in. Scrolls in. We do a little flash, and there we go. Super straightforward. I feel like I want to adjust the positioning of it a little bit. Not a ton, but move it down a bit. I don't know. But on the whole, it looks really good. So what kind of refactors did I want to do? Well, one big one is that I want to move some of the common vblank functionality into the shared vblank code. I had it originally set up so the halt instruction on the Game Boy just waits for an interrupt to trigger. So in some game states, like previously on the title screen and on the game over screen, you can just use that to wait for vblank because that's the only interrupt we have enabled. Whereas in the game and on the title screen now, we now use hblank interrupts or stat interrupts to get like some fancy line effects. And because of that, we need to do this whole sort of song and dance where we use halt to wait for an interrupt, but then we check to see if that interrupt set this flag. And if the interrupt set the flag, then we know that it was the vblank interrupt. Otherwise, we need to wait for the next interrupt. We have to do this whole song and dance. And I sort of gave it some thought, and I realized, well, if on the game over screen we're unnecessarily waiting for this, if we're unnecessarily doing all this stuff with the vblank flag, like whatever, it's the game over screen. Who cares? So for that reason, I'm going to take this wait for vblank code. I'm going to take it out of here. I'm going to drop it in here. And then I have this vblank flag, which I'm going to take out of here. And I'm also going to put in here. And next, I'm going to do the same simplification, or actually, I'm going to do a little more simplification here. In the title screen vblank routine, I'm going to stop trying to set the vblank flag because I'm not going to do that anymore here. We're instead going to do it here in our standard unified vblank code. And then finally, well, not finally, I still need to check here to see if I've got any reference of that vblank flag. I don't, that's good. I need to go into the game vblank code and do the same kind of thing. It's also sketch. Run vblank updates. Oh, I think I can delete this as well. I don't think I was ever using that. So I can delete that, which is awesome. And then I can go over here and do some similar simplifications. So we're going to get rid of this vblank flag. And get rid of that there. And we're going to get rid of that there. I'm tempted to do this also with the OAM DMA as well. Even though we only use sprites right now in the main game, we don't use it anywhere on the title screen or the other screens. It just seems like that's something that is sort of like a universal system function. And it would be better to do it just from the standard vblank handler. I'm not going to do that yet, though. But it's something I'm thinking about. So I'm going to hit build. So it does seem to, oh, it doesn't build, okay. Because it looks like in game I use, right, in game I still have this, which I want to delete. And then the other thing I want to do is, before I say, oh, I'm totally done, I just want to look for anywhere I call the halt instruction. And so we do it in the main code, which is maybe okay because it's just during startup. Yeah, it's probably fine there, but then I think in game over we use it. And for what it's worth, I might as well use the standard wait for vblank code. So I'm just going to test this out real quick. Don't foresee this having issues. I'm going to test it out. So that all works. I'm not going to play the game. I'm going to try to get a game over as quickly as possible. I'm not doing a great job of that. There we go. Game over. And we transition back to the title screen. A-okay, which is what I was hoping for. So that seems like a good change. I think we'll have end up deleting a whole lot of code from there. And just simplify things considerably, make it easier to sort of think about what's going on. Yeah, look at that. 12 insertions, but 40 deletions. That is a win. The more code you can delete when you're doing a refactor, the better. Next, the other quick thing I wanted to do today, just because this has to be such a short stream, is I want to just look over the title screen code and make sure there is, like, maybe find some I don't know, some simplification. Well, not simplification, but like some refactors I could do. Or in particular, I use a whole lot of constants like all over the freaking place that make it like hard to understand and hard to tweak. So I think that's going to be the big thing I'm doing right now. I'm just going to start looking to see what I can replace with constant. Like that can just be press start position. Set a whole bunch of constants. That is bus position. Oh no. I deleted it instead of cutting it to the clipboard. Now I'll never know what it was. So let's get that. And honestly, what would be very cool and is not something we're going to do is a lot of these things are set up to be kind of like relative to each other. Like if I want to scroll this down a little bit, like move this down a little bit, I also want to move this down a little bit and this down a little bit and this down a little bit. So it'd be nice if I could sort of like equationally define all of these based on some sort of like base offset or something like that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about it, and because maybe it's like the best practice, maybe that's the sort of thing that you should do if you're making your own gameplay game, possibly. But it's not something that I'm going to do because it's just easier to tweak it and rebuild and whatever. But these aren't actually positions, huh? These are where they go in memory. Well, the press start is. Screw this up a little bit. Right, okay. These are the numbers that correspond to the first tiles. We don't have one for press start. Kind of hurts out 20, right? So, yeah, what do I do there? You know, it might be easier to 9200, 8B00. So then I take these. That's just wrong. I'm actually going to call them that with this little address thing. And then I'm going to do that thing I sort of just described, actually, where I'm going to define what the first tiles are using those constants above. So right, this is 20, this is E20, this is AP0. So it's going to be a case of using logical AND with 0fx0 and then shifting it right by 8. Unfortunately, I don't believe RGB DS has like a nice way to like write your own sort of like functions, like macros that can expand into expressions. Otherwise, I could define like a you know, something like this, which would expand out into that nicely. You can't do that with RGBDS, unfortunately, at least not right now. So now that we've got that in, I can just set that to bust first tile, and then now bust pause is 9800. This is just the sort of thing I'm doing. I'm just trying to like really use constants here ubiquitously, so that way if I want to tweak it at all in the future, like I sort of feel like it's a little too pushed up to the top left or something like that. Like, I'm not totally sure. Like, I just want to make it as easy as possible for me to adjust those sorts of things. without needing to like understand the meat of this code. Did I use, yes, okay, and then I want katakana for style, or katakana pause. Because there's just so many weird constants I had to use. I'm actually going to build this right now just to make sure I haven't broken anything. So let's hit reload, let's hit run. Oh yeah, see, look at that, I totally broke it. I think it's just because I'm using... Right, it's because I screwed these things up terribly. So for one thing, let's use that, and that, and that. Like actually use these constants. I'm not repeating things, and then also I was shifting it too much. So let me try that. I feel like that should be a little better. Yeah, that's better. So one thing that makes me not personally super cut out for programming, especially programming, not exclusively programming on like the Game Boy, like these unmanaged systems, but like especially when programming on these unmanaged systems where you don't have a lot of, this is fine, I'm not going to touch this, where you don't have a lot of like compile time guarantees and just things can go wrong in all sorts of crazy ways is, like I feel a little spooked when things get like really like corrupt and stuff, like in a way that I can't really explain. It's very strange. I guess I'll call those like initial scroll X, initial scroll Y. This is, did I say it was a 60? Hex 60. I think this was, I want to say this was E2, but I'm just going to go double check because honestly I'm not sure. E4. Man, I look frazzled today. Yeah, not great. Oh, actually, this is just initial scroll X, and then that's the palette. I'm not going to touch that actually, but I'm going to call that that. I did the terrible thing where I look over at the little camera preview of me and start to feel bad about my hair. Just because I haven't put myself together yet this morning. This is it's like the flash wait or something, right? This is like how much time to wait after the screen is white. I'll call it like flash time. I'm not gonna bother with the palette just because the palette is like, I don't know, so bog standard that I sort of have it already in my head. D8, what is that? That is the final scroll X2. create. I'm sure there's another place to do it. Right, like file scroll x2. Here, these should be scroll speed, which should be any other like weird constants I'm looking for. That does, oh, the other ones are going to be here in this, in the stat interrupts. I don't even know what these things do. Load A45, like that's the free line, I guess. That's where we trigger that's the line that we want to trigger the that's the line we want to trigger the interrupt for the free. And then there's probably one more for the next stat interrupt. That's going to be like the press start line. What was it? It was 90. We set it to 90. And there's something else here. What are we? What's everything we're doing here? We set the palette. We set the scroll. We set the other scroll, the Y scroll. We have the stat handler that we want to configure and the line we want to run it on. Right, that's adjusting the Y scroll for the free, like free scroll adjust Y. Yeah, there's just so much to. It's hard enough to understand it, I'm sure, for someone who didn't write it. Like, I'm sure this would be brutally difficult to understand even with the constants. So without the constants, this sucks. And then this is like press start scroll just Y. Okay. Let's see if that builds, let's see, and check that I didn't break anything again. Reload run. Beautiful. I'm just going to do a quick playthrough of the, oh my gosh. Just want to get a game over to make sure that I didn't break the whole cycle. All right, cool. So that's awesome. That's what I wanted to do. I don't want to update any of these or that. I do want to update all of this. Use abundant constants. All right, I think that's it for today. Super easy, because I don't want to start working on the changes for the next release, Alpha 4, until tomorrow. I like to sort of like draw a clear line in the sand and be like, Monday is the release day. We're not going to do too much today. We're going to start the next big project tomorrow. So I've done that. Also, I need to keep the stream short for personal reasons, like I said. So NBD. So we're just going to stop there. Tomorrow, the big thing I want to do for Alpha 4 is multiple levels. Once I get multiple levels in, once I get multiple levels in, what do I want to do? I'm thinking I want to start adding sound and music. That seems like it'll be really fun. A big thing I want to do is start adding multiple brick types. But when I start adding multiple brick types, I'm going to need to take a detour, and I'm probably going to start building a level editor of some kind in order to make it easier to design the levels without using like the inscrutable like ASCII art I do in the source code. So hopefully this week, I think multiple levels will actually be quite easy. So hopefully this week we're going to get multiple levels in and we're going to start getting some sound and music in. At least that is the plan. Anyways, later today I'm going to update the GitHub with a new release. But for now, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Apologies for the really short stream. But I hope you have an awesome Monday. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Take it easy. I am out.